Perfect. All good to go. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to introduce to you the BUZZY Rocket team. BUZZY Rocket is a boutique marketing firm founded 12 years ago to help startups grow and scale their businesses. They do this with their decades of firsthand marketing experience, founding and growing multiple startups. To date, they have worked with over 100 startups. They are super unique as they take only 6 clients at a time. And Debbie and Victoria work directly one-on-one with their clients along with their rockstar team. Their expertise includes branding like website design, naming, logo design, marketing strategy, and full execution like SEO, email marketing, social media, paid media, think Google ads, Facebook ads, Reddit, TikTok, and comprehensive marketing execution. Just a quick intro about Debbie and Victoria. Over the last 25 years, they've held marketing executive positions at startups, private and public companies. They're headquartered in Washington, D.C., and work with clients across the country. They're also passionate about travel, their rescue pets, craft beer, and their families. They have such an incredible reputation, and we're really excited to have them here today. Just as a reminder, we'll have Q&A from the chat during the second half of the presentation. But if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put your questions in the chat now, whenever you have them, or just during the presentation. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Debbie and Victoria.
Excellent. Thanks for the intro. I am Debbie Klein, one of the co-founders. Victoria is joining us today, but is not going to be on camera. Thanks so much for having us. We love what we do. We're passionate about startups, and we are super excited to be speaking today about generative AI and marketing. It's rapidly transforming the way we approach marketing. It's not just about automating repetitive tasks anymore. It's really about harnessing the potential of AI, how to unlock new levels of creativity, personalization, effectiveness. So we're going to actually spend a fair amount of the day of our 30-minute class portion in the tools. But before we do that, we'd love to pop up a really quick poll as to how you would rate your current understanding of generative AI. We sometimes have audience who are like, what is it? Is it different than AI? I'm an expert. So if you can just give us a few seconds on that answer. I'll just tell you a little bit again what we're going to do today. We're going to spend 30 minutes roughly sharing information, using some different tools, kind of showcasing how you would use them in actual marketing execution. We'll open it up to QA. And just to be clear, as you heard in the intro, we're startup experts, we're marketing experts, we're experts at using AI in marketing. We're not AI experts, so we are not going to be able to tell you all kinds of deep technical reasons as to why AI is working or not in certain areas. So as soon as this poll closes out, we'll move right ahead.
Perfect. I'm still getting just a few responses, so it's going to give just
Great.
a few more seconds.
No worries.
And then I'll share the results for you.
Great.
All right. Why don't I share these and you can take a look.
Awesome. Okay. High five to the people that admit they're clueless. I think the vast majority of people tend to be in the I sort of get it. And as we'll speak to, the fact that the landscape is changing not only by the week, but really by the day. I'm very impressed with the 5% that are experts, and feel free to jump in the QA if you know more than I do in certain areas. Okay, so AI is super, super trendy. Don't worry if you can't read this. So what this is simply showing is, if you can see at the very bottom of the McDonald's, the Burger King, and the Subway ads, they all say answered by ChatGPT. So the first question that came out, and these were then used all over marketing. Some of you may have seen these before. It hit the press pretty well. What's the most iconic burger in the world? Okay, ChatGPT gave an answer on that. Burger King shot back with what's the biggest one? And then we think the hands down winner was, how do they compare to the footlong? One of the nice things about GPT is you can actually have a continual conversation, and it keeps information from the previous ones. So this is just, one example of large brands, as opposed to most of you we're speaking with today, having some fun with that. Now, there's also a little bit of a risk as you start playing with AI and the trendiness. So I have a dog and a cat. on the left, you'll see my cat Dudley, who walks on a leash. And he tried to jump over this fence, and the poor man just slid down and hung there, reminding me of like one of those old motivational posters that said, "Hang in there." But you can very quickly see, I then was like, "Ooh, I wonder how fun it would be to play with this in different AI images. And what would he look like as an oil painting?" And so part of the only reason I put this up here, in addition to, give Sir Dudley Poppers his due, is you can very quickly get sucked in all different areas, and we want to avoid that. Okay, so the customer experience lifecycle is critically important in all areas of marketing. I'm confident that most people on this call are aware of that. So if we look at the infinity loop, starting from left to right, we want to attract prospects, convert them to clients, and then retain them to grow our business. Starting at the blue awareness dot on the left and making your way around, you'll see as we go from awareness, the prospects are going to engage, consider your solution, hopefully onboard as clients. Then you're going to really work on that relationship, develop loyalty. And as they get into advocacy, they are either going, or possibly both, going to be sending referrals your way, which is fabulous. And many of them, as they also come up with new requirements, they go right back into your cycle. Now, as we look at that same loop with some of the marketing pieces overlaid on that, we can see, again, the attract, convert, and retain. But whether it's, SEO, social media, email, websites, there's all kinds of marketing pieces that go across the customer experience lifecycle that are critical. Today, we're going to talk about a fake company we made up called CyberWinners. And it's a cybersecurity startup, and they would love to execute a marketing campaign. They'd love to go through this customer experience life cycle of attract, convert, retain, but they have zero marketing resources. They don't have an in-house team, they don't have an agency, but they really need to make something happen. They need to have, all those credibility and proof points in order to get investors, drive clients. So it's important to have a destination, which is generally speaking a website. So we're going to pop up one more quick poll here. We have 3 total, and this is the second one. Are you currently using AI in your marketing in any of these phases, in any of the different areas that we showed in the infinity loop, or other areas? So I'm very curious to see how many are currently using AI. That does not necessarily mean it has to be in every area, just any at all. Okay, so while we're waiting for that poll, I'll just move to the next slide. It can be wildly overwhelming, the amount of AI tools out there today. This was some put together by CB Insights last week. It's most likely out of date already. And trying to choose which ones to use can be very overwhelming. Okay, impressive 28% are already using it, and we didn't ask follow-up, but I'm speculating that some are using it in some of the different ways that we're going to show you today. Okay, great, we can just pop that poll out of there. Okay, so today we're only going to be showing a few of these tools as we go through. So we're going to start going back to, and this is going to be the theme throughout the tools we're going to show. CyberWinners really wants to get out there, but they don't even have a website. And you might think, okay, I can go get like a $3,000 website. I can pay 6 figures for a website. We design websites, everything from like complicated e-commerce to simple ones. But hey, CyberWinners has no resources and no budget. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to look at an AI option. Okay. This is recorded, but I'm going to speak to it. We were worried about a little connectivity issues. So we're just going to start. There's tons of free tools you can use. This is durable, and it might seem impossible, but you are going to generate a website in 30 seconds. Okay, so what type of business are we building? Cybersecurity. You'll see on the left, it's automatically noticing where we are, and it's going to pin us onto a map. Very easy wizard to go through this. Our name is CyberWinners. Okay, it's already building. So I'm going to kind of loosely speak to this for about 30 seconds. You'll see it's adding some services. It's going to be pulling images in, generating some text. And in extremely short order, we are going to see one nice thing that you'll see in a minute, in addition to this testimonial, it is also including a lead capture form. As a reminder, everybody needs to have lead capture. Okay, great. Here's our website. It's following sort of the basic best practices. It's showing an About Us section. This is not necessarily, and you'll see how we edit this in a minute, this is not necessarily the, something you're going to just hit publish and put out there. So let me just move my images out of the way here a little bit. Okay, so let's just say we get down here and we're like, the back of the head of the guy in the hat isn't great. Let's go ahead and go back up here and regenerate some more images. So we're using their AI with any particular section, an image, text, you can regenerate. Okay, this looks a little bit more in line with what we want our brand to look like. Here, we don't love that quote, so we're going to regenerate one. To be clear, we never recommend that anybody make up a quote, but this might be something that we could then send to Emily and ask for her approval, feedback, or editing on that quote. Pardon me. Okay, so as we have seen here, very simple way to put together a very basic website. However, our website at this point does not have a lot of content. Having content is critical. You want to make sure that you're keeping it fresh. It's going to help with SEO. It's going to help keeping customers engaged. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pop into ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is one that many are familiar with, and I'm speculating some of the using it in marketing are using ChatGPT. So what we're going to do here is we're simply saying, okay, we're talking about cybersecurity, right? We want to do a cybersecurity blog. Okay, great. We don't know what we should even speak about at this point. There's nothing worse than thinking you have to write a blog and staring at that blank piece of paper. So we've asked it to start by generating topics. So here we have 20 topics. We've got cloud security, the role of AI in cybersecurity, all kinds of interesting ones. We're just going to take the first one, emerging cybersecurity threats, stay ahead of the game, pop it down here, and we're going to have it generate an intro and a detailed outline. Okay, so let's just give it a couple seconds, and here we go. Again, those of you that have just stared at that blank piece of paper, this is pretty compelling. We would never, ever recommend that somebody take something out of ChatGPT or any other tool and just pop it into a blog. The value that you are adding is absolutely your expertise, your experience, your stories, your perspective, your human voice, all of that. So some people take this, pop it in a Word document. Some people use other tools. Perplexity, for example, allows you, it has source materials for all of them, so you can go dive into that. But again, we're just trying to go through a couple tools here today. Okay, so great. So now we've got a blog post. You could also use this to generate additional content for specific areas of the website or many, many other areas. Okay, so now we have a website and we're focusing on attracting. Now, again, that's the first left piece of the customer experience loop that we showed you. So sadly, CyberWinners doesn't have anyone that can write emails or knows how to do Google ad campaigns, or there's not even a pitch deck. Okay, no worries. Let's use some generative AI and work on some of that. So we're going to start here with Copy AI. And what we're going to do, just give us 1 second. So CyberWinners, we're going to pop this back in here. There we go. Now, if you look at here, we've got, you can talk about your brand voice, different projects you might have up already. We're just going to start with a template for email. And there's tons of different ones you can do. We're just going to do a cold outreach email because we're a new organization that we don't have a lot of, a big mailing list of connections. So it's auto-filled in the topic as a cold outreach email. It's really just going to almost wizard-like bring you through these few bullets you have to fill in down here. We want to have the from address on here be from cyber winners. This is going out to technology executives. That's going to help not just like a to line. It's going to help understand the voice and how we should be doing this. You don't need to put a huge amount of detailed information. It is really, really important, whether you're using this tool or others, to really have your unique value proposition clear, what you do, who you do it for, why you do it better than anyone else, because those inputs into any of the AI tools is really what's going to help make those more valuable as you get the output. So again, what we're doing here is just filling in a couple basics, right? The goal of the email, always critical to have a call to action. It's simple, contact us. The goal doesn't need to be, oh, we want these people to use our tool and realize a great ROI and get new customers. Contact us. And again, at the bottom, we're just going to say they're going to contact us for a custom plan. Great. There we go. Because this is a cybersecurity company, we're going to choose a tone as professional. A marketing company might choose something a little bit more engaging, fun, comical, etc. So it's going to generate a handful. You can go ahead, you can see the little menu buttons here. You can copy these into Word or someplace else. Some people take 4 or 5 different ones and then edit them. You can ask it at any point if you like one, but it's not quite right, to regenerate more similar to that. And there you go. We've now got an email. We're going to just copy that and pop it right into our tool. You can use this if you're using HubSpot, MailChimp, any tool. We do a lot of work with MailChimp, which also has some great AI built in, both for text, images, and layouts. Okay, so now continuing that attract phase, Google Ads, which is the same thing. It was previously called Google AdWords. They've just shortened it. They're calling it Google Ads now. So if you don't have anyone in-house with any expertise in this area, it can seem a little daunting, not quite sure what to do. So we're going to quickly go ahead and use some AI here to create Google Ads. All right, we put in the company name. It's going out, it's pulling information. We used a different website for this simply because that other one doesn't exist. We chose a goal of getting more visitors to the website. It's telling us there's no Google Analytics. We always recommend Google Analytics, but if it's not there, fine. We're just going to, skip this and continue on. Okay, we're going to put in some very, very high-level basics. Our ad headline, a contact phone number. We've chosen a friendly tone. We're going to choose some keyword themes. It's, giving recommendations. We're just going to pull a handful of those. There we go. This is automatically pulled in the US, but you can see where we're typing in United States. You can have this as expansive, or you can pull down to a single zip code, however you want. Okay, great. It is now going to recommend a mid-level budget, but we really want to blow out our awareness, so we're going to bump it up. And there we go. We're just simply going to review this. You'll see the Google ad on the right. Want to make sure that we didn't hit the wrong button for budget or anything like that. We're going to skip over this so that we don't have our credit cards out on a recording somewhere on the internet. There you go. Now, because we don't have Google Analytics, as I said, we're going to skip that. And then here we go into a dashboard where we're going to be able to easily see what's going on, how much money's been sent, where are people clicking from, where all kinds of good stuff there. So again, it might seem extremely scary if we don't have anybody. Don't let it slow you down. If you're in a startup, you need to get out there and make it happen. Okay, great. Now, good news, our awareness is starting to work. People are responding to the ads, and people want a presentation, which is a little bit of a challenge because Cyber Winners doesn't have a presentation. So as opposed to staring at a blank PowerPoint slide, we are going to go ahead and use an AI tool. Okay, great. We're popping into Tome right here. This at first might seem a little bit like PowerPoint, and it's some of it is intentionally similar. Here's some templates. We're going to go ahead and choose a sales pitch template. And it's going to, I think the second slide here, it gives you directions. Very simple how to put this together. So something that's nice is it's intentionally and carefully choosing and using best practices. It talks about the market, the problem that you're solving. It's going to tell you the order in which you should talk about your solution. Again, your unique value proposition gives you the option to put in competitive information, videos. You do not need to use all of these pieces, but you can. Some testimonials. It's always important to have credibility points. Going to talk about our team a little bit. There's options if you don't choose to use headshots. Okay, so now let's pop up and say, okay, this is better than a blank PowerPoint presentation, but like, how do we get started? Okay, let's go ahead and say the pace of technological advancement is absolutely breathtaking. Yeah, we don't really love that. Let's use AI to adjust the tone to an intellectual tone. The velocity of technological progression is indeed awe-inspiring. Well, now we just sound ridiculous. So instead of keeping this one, let's go back and let's go to a more neutral tone. Okay, let's go there. Now, although you might not think that we're going to do the same thing on the text, and you know this orange Pantone cup that they decided to put as the image here, doesn't really work. But right here, I'm just going to show you how incredibly simple it is to scale an image in a deck. I'm not sure how many of you have spent a long time trying to crop and copy and paste and align. This saves a massive amount of time. Over here, if we don't think that a floating chair has a lot to do with cybersecurity, great. Let's just type in cyber threat and let's generate some alternate images that might be a better fit for our organization. And as these pop up, as you can see, this is, really incredibly fast. Let's go ahead and choose the gentleman with the hoodie and the tie, which is an interesting combination. And over on the right, you'll see we can add there's many options here. If you choose to, you can also add your own text. You can put in your own images, huge variety of things that you can do here. So we're just going to put in, be careful of cyber threats. And I think you get the point as to what we're trying to address here. We're going to change this. Hey there, let me tell you, cyber threats are totally a thing. You definitely want to be on the lookout for these sneaky buggers. We would never use this. However, this is just showing how quickly it can change the tone really in any way that you want. So simply duplicate this, pop it into a PDF, send it, and however you want to move forward with that. Okay, so good news. Now we have the website, so we have a destination for people to go to. We have attracted clients. We're getting ready to convert them. Okay, awesome. I'm sorry, we have started to convert them. Now we are going back and we're going to focus on retaining. So social media is just one of the many areas that you can use for continual engagement with clients. So we're going to use that as an example. It's important when you're using social media to use brand consistency, to post often enough, with some consistency and flow that they know what to expect from your organization. Okay, great. So we don't have any content library because this is brand new. So we're going to create a new post. There's some different types of posts you can choose. You can do an e-commerce, you can create a meme, a customer reference quote. We're just going to do a regular old business post. And we're just going to put in some really basic information, right? This is who we are. This is what we do. Who is our customer is going to be next. What benefits do they get? Again, these do not need to be super complicated or long. Okay, we're defaulting to English. We've decided we want a carousel with more than one, with a promotional and an education. Great. Let's generate. Now, as a reminder, because the website that we created is not live, this is not pulling brand information from that website or from a brand book. Most AI tools that we're going to use in marketing do have the option to put in your brand book, your logos, your colors, fonts, etc. So we're going to, edit shadowing. Extremely simple. You don't need training. This gentleman doesn't feel super cybersecurity-ish to me. So we're going to go ahead and say we want a rectangular image, and oh, there we go. This guy looks perfect. We are going to go ahead and get rid of the handle that's covered by his suit. We're going to put our information here on the right. And then we're going to share that. We would normally go ahead and pop this right onto Instagram. This company doesn't have an Instagram account, so you're going to see a few little errors in there. So as we go through here, now it's going to recommend hashtags similar to the way it recommended some keyword themes and in Google Ads and in some other areas. We're going to then choose which ones we want, which ones are most relevant to our organization, very specific to this post. Then if we were connected, we'd be able to click on suggestions and it would tell us how they would improve our post above and beyond what we've already created. So now that we've talked about how to attract, convert, and retain, how to drive people to a website, this is our last poll question. In what area of marketing do you think that AI would be most beneficial at your startup, or if you're at a larger organization, that's fine. You might think that, wow, this is all too much. I want to use it for everything. So we'll just give you a couple seconds to go there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. We have, I think, 2 slides left. So just as a reminder, this is the customer experience lifecycle. We can use AI across all of it. That being said, there are a lot of benefits and drawbacks to using AI. Everyone wants to think, oh, if I use AI, then I'm going to be a unicorn in 10 minutes and it's going to be awesome. Well, it can certainly help get you there, and there are a lot of strong benefits, which I will look at once the poll's out of the way. There we go, great, thank you so much. Awesome, very, very interesting. And content creation is an area, it's a broad area, and definitely invaluable. It can be any, absolutely invaluable. So we are gonna send an email afterwards. Feel free to book time on our calendar. We'd love to connect with any of you to speak about that. Okay, benefits, right? I think you could see how quickly, in approximately 30 minutes, I just went through the basics. Mind you, it all certainly would need a fair amount of tweaking, but the basics of how to put together marketing that touches almost every touch point in that customer experience life cycle. It really, really accelerates the creative development and the text-based content also. Saving the time is saving money. We didn't go into a lot of personalization, but there is a huge amount of personalization that AI can help you with. It can take information, you can sort of personalize to a group or category of potential clients. You can personalize all the way down to an individual. There was a pretty fun campaign that just went on in Brazil, someplace called Bob's Burgers, which is kind of funny. And they were actually pulling social media interactions and all kinds of other AI down to the actual individual and then sending them individual targeted ads. So you can do that and a million other things in email and other areas. Automation, consistency of your brand. One of the ways it enhances engagement and creates a better customer experience is that if you're spending hours, days, weeks, sometimes even longer, wringing your hands over an email or trying to create a deck. By default, there's huge gaps of time between which you're not engaging with your prospects and your customers. So that's just, one of the ways it enhances engagement. Then there's obviously a huge amount of limitations. The number one of which is, AI is not human. And I don't even mean in the way it speaks, because it's getting pretty close. And some might argue it's going to be human in a moment. But again, I did speak to this briefly earlier. You guys are magic. You have the special sauce. Your business, your unique value prop, your personality, the expertise that you have will not go into AI without your work on top of it. So you can apply the Pareto principle. You can say, great, it's going to be 80-20. You can tweak it. Sometimes you might have to put in a lot more, but that's really critical. There's also no real way to automate brand strategy. So if I had taken each of those pieces that I just put together in this presentation and just kind of threw them all out there without a strategy, it could potentially be more damaging than positive. The brand personality, again, some things you can put in with tone, etc. You can be handicapped creatively a bit if you have an incredible graphic designer with a pen or on their computer and a completely blank mind. That is going to be different than what AI comes up with. And the quickly changing marketplace is not actually speaking to the AI marketplace itself changing, but rather the fact that the marketplace and the world in general is changing incredibly fast. And many of these tools, ChatGPT, for example, are not pulling information up to the current date. Some of them have only go to a couple years old. Some can and some cannot pull information live from different websites and other resources. So this is my last slide. These are just a few of the recommended AI tools, starting with Copy AI and down. Those are ones that we used today. We are happy to share our experience and expertise on these and others at any time. And since we started with a cat, we're ending with Victoria's rescue tripod dog, Cujo. We do a huge amount of philanthropy, both donating money, free resources, as well as actual hands-on time in shelters. And it's really important to us. So thank you so much for listening to the presentation portion. And I will stop share and pop over to QA.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. So I know Victoria's been great about answering some of the questions we've gotten in the chat. We had quite a few questions about the graphics that AI suggests, and if anyone should be concerned with copyright of the photos or anything like that. So maybe if you want to just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say there's a mix. So clearly the last thing anybody wants to do is get involved in copyright violation. It does happen. There are certain tools that are a little bit more mature, a little bit more focused on business ethics. You really need to check each one. One of the tools that I mentioned earlier was Perplexity, which I believe is a free tool. Lots of these tools at least have a free version. I'd highly recommend play with them. You cannot mess it up. As I said, I'm not an AI expert, right? Like I use it and it's fun. So don't get down, the hang in there cat rat hole, but get in there and use it. So for Perplexity, you can actually go in and link into the actual source material. Whenever in doubt, definitely go check and be sure. Unfortunately, there's not really a better answer than that for imagery.
Got it. We had a couple people asking if you wouldn't mind leaving that second slide up with all of the tool recommendations.
Sure, absolutely.
Just to reference there. While we're here.
That's a pretty easy, that's like a softball getting QA wise. There you go. Yes, and again, perfect. We will share this deck and the entire presentation, the recording of the presentation. And we'll send a follow-up email again with a calendar link. This is, as you can tell, we're not trying to sell. Our organization, we only work with 6 startups at a time. We love what we do. We're so passionate about giving back to the startup community. So just call and talk to us if you want to like chatter through some of this, like would it make sense for me? Do you like this tool? Happy to. Okay. Any other questions?
Perfect. I'm looking through here. Sorry, just filtering through some. Someone would like to know, what is the symbol on the side that looks like a diamond on the top right?
I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
Sorry, that symbol on like the purple diamond on the right. They'd like to know
diamond.
which one.
Believe our diamond is bear with me. You are with this as I am.
No problem. Take your time.
I believe it is the logo for Tome, which is the one we were using to build the deck. So that was this one.
Okay, perfect. TOME for the person who's out.
And we'll pop links in there too, so you guys can find them quickly. And again, the crazy slide that I said can be scary, this is also in here broken down by category. So if you're like, all I'm really interested in is whatever, general writing or images, then you can also go pop through some of those. And again, that's not our graphic, that's from CB Insights.
Awesome. And someone would like to know just on that, if there's an AI that generates a logo.
Absolutely. There are, I'm sorry, let me just quickly get back to that one. There we go. There are AIs that will generate company names. There are AIs that will generate logos. Some that will do both in combination. In marketing at the moment, I would be hard pressed to think of something that can't be done. There are, let's see, one of them I think is actually logo.com, as crazy as that domain might be. And sorry about that. I have there's also logomaster.ai. There's a bunch of them, but again, happy to speak to anyone about those.
Perfect. And someone's wondering, in your opinion, which is the best AI software to use for social media?
I am going to get back to you on that because we have used so many tools that you may already use. For example, some people might use Canva to create certain things. Canva has AI built in it. Now, if you're using MailChimp for email, MailChimp has AI that will automatically create social posts out of your email. So it kind of depends a little bit on the use, but I can certainly, in the follow-up, can certainly come up with a list of our kind of top 5 recommendations if you're looking for social alone.
Okay. In your opinion, what's the most interesting application of AI that you've seen?
Oh, wow. AI in general or generative AI? Because I mean, AI, by the way, I have to tell you guys this. I told somebody that I was doing an AI presentation and they said, I thought you were a marketer. Why are you doing a presentation on alien intelligence? So for all I know, there might be one out there on how to speak alien or something like that. But
that
AI overall, there's so many fascinating applications. But people are using it to build out. For example, we have worked with a makeup organization, a cosmetics company, and they wanted to think through like what would be some interesting ways that we could display our cosmetics. How could we package the cosmetics themselves? And then how could that packaging go into a display? And AI helped create, here's all kinds of different ways you could package it. Here's how different display options could look. Here's how they could work together. So, I mean, this is why we love what we do. We talk to so many smart people in so many different industries, and it's really boundless what you can do. So that was a roundabout non-answer to my favorite.
Okay, great. Someone is wondering, When using AI generated info, should we acknowledge? There's the whole plagiarism argument.
Right. Well, the human has to take, you as the person, you are taking responsibility for what you're putting out there. So earlier on, I think it was maybe in Copy AI, I was like, I can't recall which it was. Maybe it was ChatGPT, but it was like, I would never copy and paste something directly from any AI tool anywhere. So you are taking responsibility, both ethically and legally, for what you put out there. This sort of goes a little tangentially, if I can move it into a question. There was a lot of, and maybe earlier this year, there was a lot of conversation with Google about, okay, for search rankings, if I'm using AI generated content, like what's going to happen there? Like, am I going to get penalized? Is that going to be a problem? Am I going to be accused of plagiarism? And originally they were a little bit tighter. Their answer originally, just to be really clear about this, was creating content with AI or any other way to manipulate the search engine is not allowed. That is against Google regulations. However, they have clarified recently, and there's been, as I said, lots of conversation about this, a material that is valuable and has insights, value to clients, value to the market, etc., whether generated through AI or human generation, there will be no penalty, and it will not impact your search results. So I hope that answers the question. Plus another answer I threw in there.
Yes. Someone is wondering, where have you seen a startup use AI in a way that achieved big success?
I think the biggest success we see in startups, I'm sorry, I just need to turn this off here. I think the biggest success is not a single organization, because, we've worked with over 100 startups over 12 years. Most recently, over the past bit, those that are either in really early stage and are struggling, and quite frankly, not to be insulting, but can't get out of their own way, right? They're like, well, let's hire someone to come in and give us a marketing strategy and execution, and then they get stuck in cycles, or somebody who's just scared, right? It's a little bit scary to be like, I have a new company. So those that have been able to say, great, we need to get out there. If you wait till anything is perfect, it's never going to get out there. So we're going to use generative AI. We're going to get out there. We're going to create a website. We're going to engage with the community. We're going to start posting places. We're going to do all this stuff. Those are the ones that have started to see hockey stick growth, not always in revenue. Sometimes it's revenue. Sometimes it's user acquisition. Sometimes, it can be different measurements. But really, I would say that's one of the biggest areas.
Okay, awesome. And there's another question that says, is there any AI that runs locally, like on your cell phone, instead of in a data center?
I'm not 100% sure I understand the question completely. Almost all AI can be accessed over your phone, so I'm not sure if it's asking for, this sort of technical components, if there's a local element that can be downloaded. So I don't really know the answer to that. Happy to look into it and send some follow-up.
Awesome. Yeah, I was wondering too. I'm not sure if they mean like an app on your phone or something similar, but I would agree. I know you can access a lot of AI on your phone.
Yeah.
So it looks like that's the last question that we have. Someone had just answered the question. They said, no, AI is a resource intensive. If you do not have a good connection, you cannot use it. And there is one more question. I know we have just a few more minutes until it ends, but they're wondering, how can you protect proprietary information when contributing context to AI applications?
It's interesting. There are entire companies that are focusing now on how to take some of these AI capabilities and pull them in-house to use sort of with the black box around them with their own data, and ensuring that that data is not then sent back out so that their proprietary data and secrets are going to be able to be taken advantage of by other organizations. So there's a lot of complexity around that answer. Again, happy to have a deeper conversation about that. Encryption can be used, some of the sort of basic things that would be used to protect data in general. You could call Cyberwinners my fake company. They'll help you figure it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie and Victoria, for being on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. If anyone has any further questions, maybe you can put your email in the chat and they can email you and reach out to you. But we're super grateful to have everyone here today, and that we've been able to have Buzzy Rocket here leading the masterclass. I know I found it very informative. And once again, this was recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel. I'll put the link one more time in the chat if you want to just make sure you copy paste that link into your notes so you can have it. Yeah, so Debbie, Victoria, thank you guys so much again. And we'll end that masterclass here.